Hello, how are you? Welcome to my channel. My name is Ruth and today I'm doing my very first speed reviews. So I wanted to try and do this maybe once a month. I have some new products that I haven't touched or I've barely touched, and I want to focus in on maybe 5 a month and really put them through the test and see, do I like them, do I not like them, do I love them, what are my feelings on it. And I'm hoping as well that this will help stop me from purchasing similar items, or more items, should I say. This year I'm really trying not to spend anywhere near as much as I did last year. Hopefully we'll be going on holidays in June to France, and I want to save up my money for then so that I can spend a bit over there and enjoy the French pharmacies and the Sephora and stuff like that. And I want to use up what I have, but I need to know what I have. Does that make sense? I feel like I have some products there, I know nothing about them. I don't know if I like them, love them. I've used them once maybe and into the drawer. So this is kind of my way to help me use properly the products that I have in my collection that are fairly new and form some opinions on them. Now, I would say to you, if you are somebody who is easily influenced, and I mean this in the nicest possible way, because I am easily influenced. So I will watch year-end favourites, or I will watch speed reviews, and I'll go off and buy that product. So if you're like that, maybe skip out of this video and go on. If you're just curious to see what I have and what I'm trying out and my thoughts on them, then by all means stay with me. But I don't want to be the reason that you break your no buy or your low buy or whatever. So I just wanted to say that. So let's get into it. So the first product I'm going to be speaking on is the PS. So PS is the home brand for Primark or Penneys here in Ireland, and Penneys is actually an Irish brand. It has started out here in Ireland and it has kind of spread across the globe. Prep and Perfect Vitamin Enriched Moisturising Primer. Now, when you look at this, you'll say to yourself, well, now Ruth, isn't that just an absolute dupe of the Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched Face Base? And I would say to you, most likely yes. I haven't tried that particular one because Bobbi Brown is cruelty free, so I've never purchased it, and it's quite expensive. This is a glass component, really sturdy component. It's €5 is all it cost. It has a very slight citrus scent. I'm getting a little bit of a citrus scent, and it's quite thick, so you really have to get in there and to get it out. If you can see it there, it's quite a thick product. So it's definitely a hydrating product, I would say. Let's see if you can see it there. So it's around €5. They're cruelty free. You get 1.5 fluid ounces or 45 ml. The packaging, as I said, is very solid and hefty. A slight yellow colour to it, and they claim that it is moisturising. So what I have said is, when I put it on my face first, it is very thick and creamy, but it does sink in quite quickly, which I appreciate. I mean, that's already starting to sink in. I'm a little bit tacky yet, but it's sinking in fairly quickly. And it doesn't have that overly silicone feel that some primers can have. Some of them you can really feel the silicone in them. What I've noticed with this is matte foundations or maybe thicker foundations, etc. I found this works really well underneath it. It just gives them more, how do I say this? Not that it thins them out so much, but it means that it's not clinging to anything on the skin. So if you have any, especially in the wintertime, I find if I've any dry patches of that, I mightn't even know I have them, if you know what I mean. I think, oh, my skincare routine, I'm doing really well, until I go to put foundation on, I go, oh, I didn't realise I had a bit of dryness there. I found a matte foundation in particular, a thick foundation, will fairly lively tell you, you have a little bit of dryness there. I'll just emphasise it for you. There you go. So yeah, I find that this is great for that purpose. Now, what I will say is, I've used this quite a number of times now, and different weeks. I've left a week or two in between, etc. Because I had noticed 1 or 2 breakouts with it. And now maybe it's not this, maybe it's just pure coincidence, but I've been using it again this week, and I've noticed again I've had a few breakouts. So I don't know. It could be that just because it's very thick, or it could be just my hormonal cycle. I seem to just have used it at the same time that, you know, spots are that are keep coming out. But I'm finding that organically I want to reach for it. I'm finding that I'm going, oh yeah, I'll put that on because it's nice and, you know, hydrating, and it'll make my foundation look a bit better. So overall, I'm enjoying it. I need to maybe wait again another week and try it again and see if I'm getting breakouts again, because I can't categorically say that it's this and that it's not hormonal or something else that I'm using, but it just, I feel like because it's scented maybe, and because it's quite thick, that possibly it could be. So maybe it's not one to use every single day, it's specifically for with certain foundations. But yeah, I look at, for the price, for €5 to get to try out something that's quite simple or similar, I would imagine, to the Bobbi Brown, you know, I thought, yeah, I want to try that out. So next up I have a foundation, and this has been quite hyped last year on YouTube, and I did actually purchase it last year, but I just never got around to using it properly. So this is the Catrice True Skin Hydrating Foundation Hyaluronic Acid Long Wear. This is it here. I have the shade, what shade here? 015 Warm Vanilla. So I did purchase this. By the way, all these products I'm talking about are currently on my face. I bought this in the summertime, and I did go for, you know, a bit of a warmer shade than probably what suits me now, but because I wear scarves and that, it's okay. And the reason being was I hadn't a lot of foundations that were a bit darker. I had a lot of lighter foundations for wintertime. Anyway, this is what it looks like. So it's under €10. You get 30ml, which is kind of your standard fare. Cruelty free. It is a lovely glass pump, actually. You know, it's quite a solid and a lovely pump. Works really well. There's a very slight scent, and it's kind of just a makeup-y scent, if you know what I mean. It's quite thick, as you can see here, and it is quite a full coverage foundation. So you can see as I kind of rub it out there, it is quite opaque and quite a full coverage. So they say that it is hydrating. I can't agree with that. Like that, I have to put something like this underneath it, or else it's not very flattering on my skin. My skin will be, I would say, normal, mature skin, sometimes a little bit dehydrated. In the summer, it can get a bit oily in the T-zone. So yeah, I don't agree with the claim that it's hydrating. Longwear, yes, definitely is a longwear foundation. They say it perfectly evens skin tone. I would say no to that. Not perfectly, but then does anything. You know, it's a bit of a lofty claim, but I find in certain areas I have to apply a bit more, like my cheeks of that, I might have to apply a bit more to kind of even out. And they also say that it's a natural matte finish, and yes, I would agree with that. You can see there it's getting a bit matte, but it still has the tiniest bit of a glow to it. So it's not completely flat and matte, if you know what I mean. But it is it's quite nice. I said initially pores were emphasized and looked cakey, and that was when I used a brush. So I went back to the drawing board and I put on the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer, just in the sections that I would have more pores emphasized, so through here and a little bit here. And then I used this lovely Eco Tools sponge that Danny sent me. Thank you so much, Danny. I use this then to pat it on, and I find a damp beauty blender always shears out these kind of foundations a little bit, and maybe kind of, because you're bouncing it into the skin as opposed to buffing it, it maybe sits in the skin a little bit better, and I just find that is definitely, for me, the best way to use it. So I retried it with a pore primer and a glowy primer, and used a small brush just for detailed work, just around the kind of eyebrows and kind of around the nose, just to get in. I like to use this lovely one again that I got as a primer. I think it's fantastic, this little angled kind of brush. And it's just great for getting, you know, in around the nose, carving around the eyebrows a bit, so you're not getting it everywhere. Because it's a thick foundation, you know, it can catch into the hairs and stuff and kind of make things not look great. Also mixed in a bit of Note Luminous foundation. So I have another foundation, it's from a company called Note, and it's a very luminous, so just put a little drop of that in, and that kind of lifted it as well. Powder and all-nighter, and it lasted well under my mask. So it's definitely one that I think is great for under mask, because once you powder it and set it down with the all-nighter, it just seems to kind of lock it in place and it kind of stays there. And this is now, for me, I think this is when you know your makeup is looking well. I met someone who said my skin looked great, not my makeup, my skin. And I always feel like that is the ultimate compliment to a foundation, if somebody's commenting on your skin and not your makeup. So yeah, I've said it's great for long wear. Is this my favorite foundation in the world? No, it's not. I've kind of, as I've got a bit more mature and mature skinned, I'm enjoying thinner kind of foundations more. And what I think this is great for actually is on camera. It's fantastic for on camera because it just really gives you a great canvas. And did I wear Christmas Day? No, I wore a different one Christmas Day. I was trying to think. But yeah, it just, I think I need to shear it out to use it, if that makes sense. So I'll either like put in, even today now, I put in some of this. This is a liquid light highlighter that I just squirt a little bit in just to lift it a bit, give it a bit more. So as a standalone product, it's not for me, but I can make it work. Does that make sense? But yeah, if you're looking for something that's extremely full coverage and long wearing, then possibly it is for you. But if you have dry skin, you really need to hydrate the bejesus out of it. Or if you have more mature skin like me, it can sink into lines and stuff like that. So you just need to be a bit careful with it. But look I'm not decluttering it from my collection at all. I'm definitely going to use it up. I will pan it, but it's not going to go down as one of my favorites at the moment anyway. That's after maybe 3 consistent weeks of use. But like I said, I will use it up, and likelihood of me repurchasing, probably slim. But yeah, I was so curious because I'd seen so many people speaking about it that I wanted to try it myself. I have my notebook here in case you're wondering what I'm at. So to go hand in hand with that, I went off and bought, I think it was Tati that made me buy this actually. She always, that woman gets me. And I shouldn't, because I have different skin type to her, I have different likes to her, and I need to stop buying what she recommends. Simple as. 18-hour hydrating. This is the True Skin, the Catrice Again True Skin High Cover Concealer. Hyaluronic acid and waterproof. I don't know how you're going to test if it's waterproof, apart from me constantly weeping, but there you go. That happens a lot. I have the shade 005 Warm Macadamia. Now, I thought I would love this because I said, oh, look at the tip on that. That'll get right in, can you see it? That'll get right into the corners of the eye. And, you know, I'll be able to get right up in here to where I get a bit of darkness. But this, let me put down that, this is so flimsy and flexible. I wish it was a bit stiffer. But it's just too flexible. It just, you try to get in there and it's just moving all around. That's the shade there. So you can see it's a tad lighter than my foundation, and it is on the warmer side as well. I'm just kind of leaning towards warmer tones at the moment. I feel cool tone pinks don't really suit me, and it's hard to get a neutral one, so I'm kind of leaning into warm tones at the moment. Which is whether this is under €5. You get 4.5 ml, which is quite considerable, I think. 0.15 fluid ounces, cruelty free, your little diamond shaped applicator as you saw. Tiny bit of a scent again, but just kind of a makeup-y scent, not like, I hate the camouflage concealer that they have. I know some people don't smell anything, but it, oh my god, it actually triggers migraines. I can't, I'm not able for it. So what I use for this is either a very small kind of brush like this, or a little, or actually both actually. I kind of apply it with that, and then this little sponge, and then at the end I'll actually tap it out. I need to tap it out with my finger as well, because it does definitely settle into creases on me. They call it high cover. Yeah, I suppose it is. It's not bad. Hydrating, no, I don't agree with that. I just don't, because like I said, it settles into my fine lines, and as the day goes on, I definitely notice it getting drier and getting a bit cracky. As I said, I thought the wand to be better for the inner corner because of the tip, but it's not. Don't need much as it is very pigmented. So that is a good thing, because the last thing you want when you've more mature eyes is to be caking on the concealer, because it just settles into those lines and emphasizes things, makes things look worse in my opinion than better. Easy enough to blend out, but it really gathers around my nose. So I find it kind of really sticks in here, so I have to really kind of get in there and pat it out. I said it settled a bit into fine lines, but not awful. Second time, made sure under eyes were well hydrated and used less product. I set with my Becca. This is what I always use, my Hydra Mist setting powder from Becca, and I just found that it actually oxidized and looked so dry. And I mean, I use this with everything, every kind of concealer that I have. It's never oxidized another one. It's never made other ones that I use look drier than they are. So I can't fault the powder there, I just can't. I think it was yesterday I put it on again, and I made sure I didn't even, because I always use my Becca under eye corrector as well. I just like to use this first because I find it quite hydrating actually, and it just cancels out the purple that can be under my eye sometimes from tiredness. So yesterday I had no under eye corrector on, no foundation, and as in near my under eyes, and just very lightly again tapped on some powder, and it looked a bit better. But I find it a bit finicky, and like that it really does settle into lines for me. And I'm on the hunt. I'm so picky when it comes to concealers, I just am, and I'm on the hunt for the one, and I'm struggling to find it. Maybe part of that is because I constantly use drugstore ones. Maybe that's it. Maybe I need to up my game a little bit, but this isn't the one for me, certainly not. I'm going to keep it in my collection for now and try and see if I can find a way that I can use it that is, you know, maybe try and use it as a foundation or something like that. I shall see. But it is a possible declutter too, because, you know, someone else might get use out of it and there's loads of product in it. It's, you know, relatively new to my collection. Now, as you can see, for some reason it's taking much longer to set down than the foundation is. Like, this foundation is fairly set now, but the concealer is still very tacky and moist. I apologise. But yeah, it was a bit of a disappointment. But sure, look, not everything can be a winner. Next up is, this could be a controversial one now, so brace yourselves, lads. This is the Nabla Skin Bronzing Sun-Kissed Effect Bronzing Powder in the shade Ambra. And this is what it looks like. So you can see I've got quite a little bit of a dip going on it there. Can you see? Just here, I suppose, really, more so than anything. Anyway, that's what we're here for. This was just under €20. It is 6.5 grams of product, which is a nice bit, 0.23 ounces. Nabla are cruelty free. Nice solid packaging, quite nice. I like it, and I like the colour of it. I like this kind of brownish kind of tint to it. They've no scent to it. I would say the colour would be, it's a cool tone bronzer for me anyway, and it has kind of a satin finish. Hard to get, it's kind of a gelée, is it gelée formula? Is that what they call it? So let's see if we can give you a bit of a swatchy swatch. Packaging is beautiful. That was my favourite thing about it. Doesn't bode well, does it? I said it's subtle. You need to build it up, but it does blend very easily. Very much what I would call a winter shade for me, because I have it on today, and it has warmed the face a little bit, but only slightly. And I mean, this is probably the palest I'll be, so it definitely wouldn't be a summer foundation for me. Not that I get much of a tan in summer, but I do warm up a little bit. I just don't seem to love it like everyone else does. I know this is so many people's holy grail bronzer, but I like it, don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm not decluttering it, I will keep it, and my goal is to eventually pan it someday. But it's certainly not a love it, and it's certainly not something that I would go around telling everyone, you have to buy this. It is amazing. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I have the wrong shade. Maybe it's too light for me. But I thought, you know, I'm fairly pale, you know, that this would be the right shade for me. Yeah, I don't know. It's fine. It's fine. But for like €20, I could get like another Kiko one. I love the Kiko bronzers. They're a bit cheaper than that. Makeup Revolution ones are cheaper than that. You know what I mean? There's ones that I can get for less money that I enjoy more. But it's fine. I don't really know what else to say. It is fine. Like I said, I love the packaging. It's beautiful. I love this kind of see-through and kind of the bronzy shade for the bronzers. And I think it's kind of pinky toned for the blushes. I suppose at the moment it has put me off buying more. So I was curious about the blushes and the highlights, and now I'm like, all the people that love the blushes and the highlights love the bronzer too. So maybe that means I should hold off for a while, save my money, and maybe not purchase them for the moment. Maybe if they come on sale or something like that, I might look, but I don't need them at the moment either, so that's the other thing. If you saw my blush video, I'm just like, you have enough blush, girl. But yeah, I don't really know what else to say about it. It's fine. It's grand, as we would say here. Last but by no means least, I have, get to my page. I'm such a note taker and I'm such a little nerd when it comes to this stuff. Look at this camera. I have the Milani lipstick in 190 Covet. And I think this is under €10. Look at this packaging. This packaging is just glorious. Beautiful. Doesn't really have a scent to it, which is great. Like the opening and closing of it is so... Jesus, Ruth, what are you doing? You nearly broke the whole thing and you're showing off. Lovely click to it. God, can you imagine? Oh my God, I think I would have died if I just squished that into my hand. So, what I have said about this is the actual shade inside. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful shade. I love it. Gorgeous. Give you a little swatch. Try and make it the worst swatch in the world if possible. Like, look at that. Beautiful. Stunning shade. Lovely hydration, etc. My problem with this... Okay, first of all, although I don't think I noticed it today. Hold on. Yeah, no, it's not so bad. First time I put this on, I noticed that it felt very grainy on the lips.
I better check that out because that will be gone everywhere.
No, we're fine. But it seems to have kind of settled down a little bit. That graininess seems to have gone, although I can see some, I don't know. It's extremely comfortable on, and it feels so hydrating, but I worry about it travelling. I mean, I've only taken one sip out of this cup, and if you can see there, like, she's all over it. And I mean, that's what you get from a cream lipstick, you know, I know that. But I worry about it because this kind of shade, you'd really notice. So sometimes, Joe, if you drink from a coffee cup and it can hit your nose or it can hit down here, Joe, one of the takeaway cups, or on your teeth or stuff like that, or I don't know. I'd love it in a comfortable liquid lipstick formula. If I could get this colour in that, I would be ecstatic because it is a stunning shade. I quite like it on. I mean, it looks a bit more opaque in the tube than it is on, but I'm happy with that. You know what I mean? If it was more opaque again, it probably would be even harder to, you know, stop from moving around in that. Extremely comfortable on. Love it on. The feel of it on. And I love the shade, but I just worry a bit that it might travel a little bit. You know, as cream lipsticks are wont to do. So that is it. That's my first speed reviews. Let me know if you enjoyed it or if you thought, Ruth, what are you at? Just don't. Just stop. But yeah, some wins, some fails. You know, it is what it is. That's what happens when you buy makeup, you know. Have you any of these products? What are your thoughts on them? Are they completely different to mine, or are they very similar? I'd love to know. Please let me know in the comments down below. But that's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will chat to you in the next one. Take care. Bye. Slán.